Hey there, Class 10 students. This is Harpreet Kaur from English Frog Club, and I have come to teach you another part from the chapter 100 Dresses 1 from your book First Flight under NCERT publication. So, why to wait? Let's dive straight into the explanation of the chapter. Wanda Petronsky. Most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say like Thomas, Smith or Ellen. So what now the writer is expressing us what was the difference, why the children were not bothered about Wanda, whether she was there in the class or not in the class. So let's find out the reason. Okay, so here the writer is giving us the first reason. First reason was her name. Her name was quite long and different. Her name was different. So children did have very easy names in room number 13, and it was easy to pronounce also. And there was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So there was a Bounce named child, and the children thought that, oh, its name is a little funny one, but they found that Wanda's name, Wanda Petronsky, was quite a different name, and they just could not pronounce it, and they stopped talking to her. So they just did not like her name, so they did not talk to her. Wanda didn't have many friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. Okay, so what does this expression means? That didn't hang right means it was not properly fit. Okay, it was a little loose to her, as if that dress did not belong to her. It was not quite fit dress to her. Okay, so Wanda did not have friends, and moreover she had only one dress that she used to wear on daily basis to the school. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard, or as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. So in the class nobody talked to her, but some girls do talk to her outside the classroom, sometimes in the school ground, and sometimes while Wanda was just watching the little girls playing hopscotch. At that time girls used to talk to her. Now let's see what they used to talk to Wanda. Wanda, Peggy would say in most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Okay, so it was quite formal. Miss Mason, who is Miss Mason? Miss Mason is their teacher. Okay, so in that very manner she used to be very courteous, and she used to ask her some question. Let's see what that question was. Wanda should say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So, just giving one of her friends a nudge. Nudge is a gentle push, like with the help of with the elbow or with the push of hand, we just involve someone in our mischief. So in that way, while just talking to Wanda, she used to bring one of her friends along with her, and now she said, okay, I'm going to make the fun activity start. Can you be with me? So that kind of feeling that brought. Okay, so the question she used to ask Wanda was how many number of dresses she had in her closet. See the irony here, that girl wore only one dress on daily basis. Still the girls used to ask her how many dresses she had in her wardrobe. Now let's look at the answer given by Wanda Petronsky. 100, Wanda would say. 100? Exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. So they just showed their unwillingness to believe. How could you have 100 dresses? Think again, like in the mind they're thinking that, oh, same dress daily, wearing that same dress, and she is just boasting off she had 100 dresses in her closet. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Okay, so in this way the little girls also got into this fun making activity. Yeah, 100 all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Okay, now they are again making fun of her. Okay, what is the material of the dresses? So silk can be afforded by only rich people, as it is quite expensive. So she said, yes, you must be having dresses that are made of silk. So Wanda replied, yeah, all silk, all colors, velvet too. Okay, then the enquiry is, do you have dresses made of velvet? Wanda's reply was, yes, velvet too, 100 dresses. Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. Okay, so she said that she used to repeat it with great certainty, and that nobody could believe that this girl wearing one dress daily, that too is not properly fit and not ironed, how could she have 100? How could she has 100 dresses in her wardrobe? Then they would let her go, and then before she would gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and pearls of laughter. Okay, just after asking these questions, they would let her go, and when she had gone a little far, they used to laugh a lot and just look at each other and have fun. Oh, this girl is just boasting off. How could she have? She has 100 dresses. So this was the fun making activity that was done by the girls on daily basis with Wanda Petronsky. 100 dresses? Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story! How many shoes did you say you had? So another instant of asking questions to Wanda. Now this time the question is about shoes. So Wanda's reply, 60 pairs all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. So these two girls, Peggy and Maddie, were the last girls to leave. So the fun activity, this fun making activity was started by Peggy, and Maddie used to be with her because she was Peggy's best friend, or Peggy was her best friend. So she always was there in that fun making activity. Finally, Wanda would move up to the street, her eyes dull, her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in a funny way she had, finishing the walk to the school alone. So after that, they never bothered whether to take her along with her to school or not, and they left her. And Wanda Petronsky, without making any sound, in her peculiar way, she used to walk all alone to the school. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. Okay, it was not that she was in the bullying activity. Wanda was being bullied by these girls on the topic of having dresses. or having possessions like shoes, dresses and other ornaments, etc. So Peggy was not actually cruel at heart. She, most of the time, she also protected the little children from the bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. So she was quite good at heart. She could not bear mistreatment with the animals. She could not bear mistreatment with the young children, small children. So if anyone had said to her, "Don't you think that this is cruel way to treat Wanda?" Okay, she said that if anyone, she just is thinking of this thing that, oh, I wish someone would say me that this is not the exact way, this is not a right manner to talk to the girl named Wanda. She would have been very surprised. Cruel. Here the writer is sharing the characteristic traits of Peggy, as Peggy was the first one who started this fun making activity with Wanda Petronsky. So the writer says that, the author says that Peggy herself was not quite cruel at heart. She had a good heart. She was very soft at heart. She could not bear the children being mistreated by the bullies or the animals being mistreated. If anyone would have asked her a question, whatever you are doing with Wanda seems to be a little cruel. So she would be surprised to answer, she would be surprised that whether it was cruelty. As according to her, Wanda herself is boosting off her dresses, and in spite of knowing that she has that only one dress. Okay, so let's see further. Now, after getting Peggy's opinion, Peggy's nature, a glimpse into Peggy's nature by the author, now the author is giving us a chance to peep into the nature, characteristics, etc. of the girl named Madeline, whose short name is Maddie, who is the best friend of Peggy. As far as Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats, how many this and that she had was bothering her. So she was getting a little disturbed by this fun making activity that was started by Peggy, and she was not feeling good at heart when Wanda was being asked about how many dresses, how many hats, how many shoes did he have. So Maddie was poor also. The reason behind this was that Maddie herself was poor, and she could understand the feeling of having less dresses, not having proper facilities as the rich children have. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Now what are hand-me-down clothes? The clothes that are not used by people. I mean, when children stop using those clothes due to the gain in height, or just they don't feel like wearing it, and or they get new clothes and the old ones are spare now. So those clothes are passed over to the poor people. He was one of those girls who was wearing hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggin Heights or have a funny name. So she is really thankful to God that she doesn't have, she is not living at that place where Wanda Petronsky is staying, and she also has a name that is familiar with the children. She doesn't have a different name that is long one, Wanda Petronsky. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly. Okay, so here many a times when Wanda was being asked these questions, Maddie used to be there, but she tried not to get involved in that activity, and she used to play with the marbles that she had in her hand just to keep her mind somewhere else. She used to try to keep herself her thoughts into those marbles only. Now, what were the reasons that she felt bad and she was not interested in this activity? Not that she felt sorry for Wanda. Exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dress game. So, she said that it was not because she was feeling sorry for Wanda. She came to know about Wanda Petronsky only when Peggy had made this game of asking how many this, how many that from Wanda Petronsky. But suppose Peggy and the other girls started in on her next. She was more worried about this. What will happen if, Wanda is poor and she is also poor. So she was afraid, she was scared somewhere in her heart only, because as she herself was poor, maybe these rich girls would target her after Wanda. So what will happen at that time? So that is why she was really worried about this game, as it was lingering quite a lot, and Maddie did not like that. She wasn't as poor as Wanda perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Now she is giving justification here in case these girls will start asking her how many dresses she had, and this game is passed over to her from Wanda Petronsky. The target is shifted from Wanda Petronsky to Peggy. So she is just thinking what kind of answer would she give at that time. So she says that she is not that brainless that she would be answering them back that she had 100 dresses, whereas she doesn't have. She still would not like for them to begin on her. Okay, so she said, although she would not be giving that silly answer as that was given by Wanda, but still she did not want that this game would begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. Okay, look at here. She wished Peggy to stop teasing Wanda Petronsky, but she, as a real friend to Peggy, she had never asked her to stop doing all these things to Wanda. So that is all in the explanation video of this part of 100 Dresses Part 1 of the book First Flight under NCERT publication. So I, Harpreet Kaur, wish to take leave now, but before leaving, I would like to ask you whether you have subscribed to my channel or not. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly consider subscribing and hit the bell icon for the latest updates of my video.